Hello guys, and welcome to another episode of Six Experience. My name is Zaid, and today I'm going to be going over my carnivore diet that I started 15 days ago. So, this carnivore diet, it's been the latest and greatest rave on the internet when it comes to diets. So, as you guys know, this is kind of a food channel slash travel slash crazy experience channel. Needless to say, I am very much into fitness. I do a bunch of stuff outside the video realm. I do a lot of CrossFit, I do a lot of powerlifting, just regular weight training, and all kinds of other stuff that I can involve myself with when it comes to sports. Having said that, that has left a lot of injuries, and it has become very problematic for me. But for all this to make sense, let me take you back a couple of years. When I first started to really take care of my diet was back in middle school slash high school. I was a very obese kid. I was 240 pounds. I was never really educated on how to eat, what to eat. My parents really didn't know. They were too busy working. Mom and dad, two jobs each, just kind of going at it. They were never around. So me and my three other siblings were left to kind of fend on our own, and they left us food and everything, but we didn't know any better. We would only go ahead and eat whatever we found in the markets or whatever, and so that started to put some real poundage on. And before I knew it, I was in middle school, and I was that kid with a size 42 pants. Obviously, a lot of people started to tell me that I needed to lose weight. I started noticing how people started to treat me because of my weight. And so I really started to pay attention to it by like the age of 16, 17, when I really started to incorporate myself into music and a bunch of other things. I started to take a little bit more responsibility as to what I was doing. Back then, it was only exercise. I didn't know much about it, but as far as I knew, running seemed to be a good option, jumping rope, and doing push-ups. So I started by doing one. I couldn't do more than 5 push-ups actually. So I started just doing 5 sets of 5 every day after school. I started running 2 laps every day. Well, jogging. It was kind of funny. And jumping rope, I did sets of 10. That was the most I could do. That was the most my body could handle. So I would do that consistently every day. So after some time, I progressed. To be honest, I always had a hard time communicating with other people. And you could see a really big barrier because of how you look. And I'll show you guys a picture of how I looked in just a couple of minutes. But it was a really tough time for me. So after doing this for quite some time, I started to lose some weight, but not enough. I always fluctuated between 20 to 15 pounds. There was always this big range where I would just fluctuate all the time. And so I got all through high school like that, and I was a chubby kid. I couldn't do anything. I started to gain some muscle, and I started to run 4 laps after a while. I started to do jumping my rope for 100 times consecutively, 5 sets of that. And I got to doing a decent amount of push-ups, actually quite fast, in a couple of months, I would say. And I started to really get into running. But that didn't take away any weight. And that started to leave me with some joint problems. But fast forward 3 more years. I'm in college now. I got all through high school. And I really noticed my weight gain substantially when I went on vacation. I went on vacation with my girlfriend Myra to Cancun, and I saw one of the pictures that we had that just blew my mind. It was one of those moments where everybody just kind of sits down and analyzes, okay, what's going on? Why am I so different? What am I doing wrong? I decided to really start looking at the entire scope of what I could do to change my physical appearance, not for the sake of how I looked, but mostly what could I do to basically be a healthier version of me. At 240 pounds in college, it's no wonder why my knees really started hurting. So I really started to look into everything. I started to look into diet, nutrition, just really started looking into everything. Exercise, what can I do, supplementation, all that. I really started to look into it. That was when I was about 21, I believe. From that point until right now, I have voyaged into many different things, including many diets. I started off with the easiest thing, and this might sound a little cheesy, and a lot of people might laugh at this, but this is all the information I have. I started off with bodybuilding.com. Go figure. You're gonna start looking at bodybuilding. That's all the information I had. So I started looking into that, and those guys helped me out a bunch. And I don't care what people have to say about the company right now. Doesn't matter to me. It was a great place to start off. I started doing the whole meal prep. I started learning about that, what to eat. Get a cup of protein, half a cup of rice, and, put some greens with that. And I started doing 12-week programs. First thing that I did was that Chris Gethin program. That guy's kind of getting pretty huge right now. But when he first started with the 12-week trainer, I did that 12-week trainer 4 times. I also did another one of his because it was an awesome training guide. If you guys want to look into it, I really recommend it. Even though now I'm doing this, I'll talk a little bit more about that. I really recommend those programs. There's another one called DTP, which stands for Dramatic Training Principle. Really awesome program to put on size or mass and strength. Really awesome. I really recommend it. I started doing the whole 6 to 7 meals a day, super lean meals. I'm talking about like just literally cooking spray on the pan, chicken, just meat with no nothing. Literally, I was eating super bland food. For 5 years, I never missed a meal. Never missed a meal. Not once. All my friends can attest to this. They will tell you that I would go everywhere with my lunch bag. Everywhere. I would always have 3 toppers at least with me. 3 to 4 toppers filled with food. Either with chicken, rice, some kind of tilapia, meat, whatever. I would always have food with me. I always had energy, but I wasn't really losing weight. I was gaining muscle, but the weight just wouldn't come off at all. And so it started to really daunt me that maybe this wasn't the way for me, particularly for me. I know it's helped out a lot of people. I saw it in many of my friends. Actually, my best friend, which you probably saw in one of the music videos when I did the street taco video, his name is also Jonathan. He went to school with me. He's my best friend till day. And he did this program along with me twice as well, along with the DTP, I think once. And he lost an insane amount of weight. He got shredded real quick. What the video was meant to do, he became in those 12 weeks. He literally lost the weight, put on the size, and shed the excess fat. Like same with the DTP. I really started to question whether 5 to 7 meals a day or 6 meals a day was really a thing for me. So what I started doing is I started looking elsewhere. I started looking into low carb diets, gave those a try. I started looking into ketogenic diet. I gave that a try. Which was the most recent one. I tried a bunch of different diets, guys. I kid you not. And I tried them for a long period of time. I know some people might say, hey, go ahead and try this. Just lower this ratio, or you got to get the perfect amount. I don't think nutrition should be that hard, to be honest. Fast forward to this carnivore diet. Right before starting it, I was doing keto for 3 months or 2.5 months or so. And I wasn't having much success, to be honest. My power levels are super low. I was eating the right ratios of food that were recommended, and I even tried tweaking those a little bit when they weren't working, and it wasn't helping me. So when I started seeing that more and more people started to record the fact that they were eating this carnivore diet that was just very simple, animal products. Go ahead, eat animal products, and you should be fine. Basically, that's all it is. I said, well, simple enough. I've gone through that a couple of times in my life. Heck, it can't be worse than 6 to 7 meals a day. And I gave it a shot. And it's now been, I believe, 15 days till day. I have successfully lost 5 pounds of fat. I believe I've gained like 1.5 pounds, or 1 pound at least, of muscle. I'm way more defined. All of my bloating is gone. All of it. I have no more bloating in my stomach whatsoever. With every other diet that I've tried, since it always had carbs or a very minimal amount of carbs, I would literally wake up every morning with like an extra belly. I was super, super bloated. It would look like overnight I would literally put on 5 to 6 pounds. Ridiculous amounts of weight. With this diet, I having all my bloating is gone. All of it. Zero. I wake up with zero bloating every day, which feels great. My mood has changed dramatically. I feel a lot better. My mind feels very clear, very concise. It almost feels like I went back in time and back to my college days, which doesn't really say much. I feel like everything is just in a different space. There's just so much. It just feels that like a lot of clutter got cleared off. It's really close to keto in that aspect. When I was doing the ketogenic diet, that's the closest thing that I can relate it to. Keto is very much like it, and even intermittent fasting. And I even tried fasting for full 2 days, which went pretty well. That was the only other thing that removes the bloating completely. Just literally stop eating. I did. I didn't eat anything for 2 days, and that was the only other thing that removed any bloating, but that's for obvious reasons. But anyways, yes, a very clear mind is something that I've gained, and it's almost like permanent, this permanent state of it. But what have I learned so far? In these 15 days, there's also been a lot of change. The first 5 to 7 days were really, really crazy for me because the first 3 days, I know since I've done plenty of diets, everything is just so much more under the microscope. Like if you see a bag of chips, if you see, I don't know, a donut or whatever, something that you might like, you just want it that much more. Like if you craved it before, you're gonna crave it a lot more. And that's just kind of like your adaptive phase. It's like that idea of knowing that you're not gonna have it anymore. It doesn't cope well with your brain while it's adapting. So it was pretty hard for those 3 days. I cut out everything. Up until the 7th day, I really started noticing that all that went away. I stopped craving everything. I looked at food and I was like, I don't need that. Just like completely apathetic about it. Another thing that happened throughout those 7 days was the adaptive phase for switching from carbohydrates to fats. That, I gotta say, was hell for me. I couldn't do CrossFit at all, not at the regular level that I usually do, but it's gotten a lot better. From those 7 days, from day 1 to day 7, I could physically feel a third of my strength. I was only deadlifting for deadlifting purposes, just really, really light, just to kind of keep reps in, and even then, my sessions would be like 30-minute sessions, and my body would say, that's it, you got no more power, let's get out of here. And after 30 minutes or so for like the first 7 days, I would just leave the gym. And now, like from that 7th day mark to today, my 14th and my 15th day have been substantially better. I feel that my body has fully become adapted. Like from that 7th day to like the 13th day, I started noticing a little bit of a difference. That's when the clarity of mind really started to really kick in. I also started to notice that a lot of my joints started hurting a lot less. And it wasn't because of the activity level or anything like that. I had taken copious amounts of time before that, and I hadn't noticed any improvement on a lot of my injuries that I've had all over my body. As you guys have seen, I've done an Carnivore knee sleeve review for that same reason. I have 2 Carnivore knee sleeves now. Both of my knees were hurting for no apparent reason. Maybe it was the CrossFit. I'm going to a chiropractor. I'm seeing somebody and he's helping me out quite a bit. But nothing has helped me out more than just killing all the carbs out. Killing all the greens out. Nothing. I had a lot of popping on one of the joints because I literally just had I've been dealing with an injury on one of my shoulders for some time, and there was quite a bit of popping whenever I did this. You might have heard it actually. But it's significantly been reduced. The pain that goes along with just literally doing this to raise my arm is not even there anymore. Like I don't have that pain anymore, which was why I wasn't doing any overhead cleans or anything like that anymore. All this with just killing out all the carbs and just eating meat. And from that 12 to 15 day mark was when I really, really started to notice it. But the strength started coming back from that 13th day till today, which is the 15th day. So what are my thoughts so far on all this? I think it's amazing that by just kind of experimenting for ourselves for what works for us really can do. You know, I'm I'm not saying everybody should go carnivore, but if you are definitely experiencing any issues with your digestive system, any joint problems, if you're just feel like you're getting a little bit slower on the everyday basis, just mentally, that for me makes all the difference. Let's say the weight wasn't coming off. I mean, I've dealt with that for some time. At this point, I mind it, but not to the amount that I used to mind it when I was back in college or just going through all that. If we can get the six pack, heck, great. I'm losing the pounds, great. But for me, it's more about the health and for the long run. And I really think that no knee pain and no joint pain in just 15 days of doing this, no bloating, and literally no issues with my stomach. As every guy may tell you, we fart. It's normal. Everybody does. Haven't farted in I just haven't farted. But that's another story. And I gotta tell you, my girlfriend's laughing right now in the other room, and she is insanely happy about it. Or she might just be making fun of me because I'm saying this into a camera and a microphone. And finally, the weight loss. The weight loss is awesome. Heck, mental clarity, stomach issues are gone, pain-free, muscle gain, weight loss. Because I have had some muscle gain along with all this. I have actually put on some muscle. I look way more defined than I was before. And another big thing that I'll talk about in my next video, I am going to report in the next 15 days just to see how much more adapted I've gotten. And hopefully I get a lot more of my strength back. I'm not fully back to my 100% of my strength. But with what I saw today in the gym, I was literally back to about 75 to 80%. In 15 days of just coping with this, I'll take it. I'll definitely take it. When you realize that you can't get off a chair without both of your knees clicking, when you realize that you put your arm up or you can't even push anything above your head or push anything forward without any pain, you start really giving up whatever just to get that mobility back, just to get your normal life back. You start giving up a lot of things, and I think this really solves a lot of problems for me. Who do I recommend this to? Anybody that wants to give it a shot. I'm not saying that this will work for everybody, but it does seem to be helping a large amount of people. I mean, it's all anecdotal so far. There hasn't been any science to back this up, but there is more and more trials that are starting to be done just to check all this out, because it's becoming not only such a big rave, there is actually a lot of people that are having really positive results with this. By the way, if you want to have a little bit more of an accurate view on all of this, obviously this is my anecdote. Take it as you might, but I'm just putting myself out because I wanted to make sure that if you were somebody that was border kind of giving this a shot, and you were kind of like, whether I should give this a shot or not. This is my experience with training as a kind of sedentary person / half athlete. I have lost a considerable amount of strength, but I'm slowly gaining it back in a very, very lean way. And hopefully within the next 15 days, I'll be able to report back for those people that are kind of a little bit more worried with this. To be honest, I don't mind size, but I do mind strength. So I do wish I can get back that strength. For me, it's very, very important, especially for the line of work that I do. So if you guys want to really check a little bit more science behind this, you can always go ahead and go to Sean Baker. Sean Baker is apparently the leading guy in all of this. He is a doctor that kind of started the whole rave of the carnivore diet, or I wouldn't say necessarily started, but he's really he's kind of like the Jordan Peterson of this diet. He's been really exposed by the media, and he's consistently updating his YouTube channel, so I would really recommend you guys take a look at that. And also, you can always go check out Jordan Peterson. That interview with Joe Rogan was quite explicit on all the changes and all the benefits that he gained throughout just eating carnivore. And he is super strict. Just meat with salt and pepper and water, period. As well as his daughter, Michaela Peterson. You can go ahead and check those interviews out at Joe Rogan Experience podcast. So check that out and take those as you might. But in any case, guys, I hope this was helpful to all you guys. I will be reporting within the next 15 days just to see kind of how this has gone. And I'm also doing it for personal kind of records, just to kind of keep myself accountable. Obviously, if this is really working, if I am really losing the pounds, and I kind of can't wait to tell you the biggest thing for me that has changed, that has been something that I've been fighting with for all of my life. But I'll report a little bit more on that on the next video, as it's a very sensitive and personal topic to me. But in any case, guys, if you guys made it through the end of this video, I really appreciate it, and hopefully it's helped you gain a little bit more insight as to what this diet can or cannot do for you. But go ahead and give it a shot and see how it works for you. Almost forgot. By the way, guys, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please go ahead and do so. Go ahead and click that subscribe button, click that like button if you like that video, and leave a comment down below. I'm really interested to hear about other people's anecdotes, especially on this topic. It's gonna be super helpful for me as well to hear if you guys have any pointers or anything of that sort. So please leave a comment down below. I would really appreciate it. But I'll go ahead and I'm gonna start putting up a couple more videos in regards to food, just to show you guys what I cook on the daily. But in any case, guys, Zayd out. Peace.